Good day, YouTube. This is another video with men with time and resources. One of the best advice I could give you is if you meet a woman and she has her own place, don't move in there. Okay? No matter how they tell you, it's better if you move in here because you could save. It's your time and your resource. It's better to get your own place and have them move there because their place is their rules, their regulations, no matter how you think you're going to change it. I've been in situations where I've dated women. My wife and I was on a break for a little bit. And I've dated women where I've moved into their place and they're the nicest people at first, the actresses. And then you see their child or their son doing something and you try to correct him and they let you know that you're not his father. I know I'm not his father, but he's doing things counterproductive as a young man. I'm in one situation where this young man's room had all the dishes, had so many dishes inside of the room that I came home from work one day, and because his room door is always closed. So I came home from work one day and saw the door was cracked and I pushed it open. And there was all these plates and cups all over the floor. You could smell the room. These had these little gnat flies all over the place. So I said to him, listen, take all the stuff out your room and go wash the dishes. And he said to me, who you talking to? I'm talking to you. Take all that stuff out of take all that stuff out of your room and go wash them. He pushed his door closed. I went in his room. So he was in there for a while. He didn't do nothing I told him to do. And I kept calling his mother, and he kept going to voicemail, kept calling his mother, kept going to voicemail. So then she came home. But I was in the backyard, in her property. I was in the backyard, not a big property. So I was just cutting the grass in the back of the yard, putting up some weeds. And she came to the back door. She says, is there a problem? I said, no, there's no problem. With what? What happened? He said, with my son. I said, oh, yeah. He has all these dishes in his room. And there's little gnat flies running around there. And I told him to take them out of the room and go wash them. She says, if you have a problem with my son, you can talk to me. So why would I call you to tell him to take dishes out of his room and wash them? He said, cause you're not his father. It's okay. But what does that have to do with him taking the dishes out of his room and washing them? She said, because next time you have a problem with him, you tell me and I'll tell him. So you want me to call you and tell you that there's dishes in the room and you should go wash them? She said, yes. It's okay. A couple weeks later, I came home from work and come to the front door, and the sneakers in the front door almost fell over with the bags in my hand. Bags of grocery that I went to the supermarket to go buy almost fell over. And I said to him, listen, young man, you can't leave your shoes in the front door like this because somebody could get hurt. And what's up with your clothes being in the hallway? Take them and put them in the hamper. I could cook, so I was in the kitchen cooking, and she came in and said, it seems like you have a problem with my son. I said, I don't have a problem with your son. His shoes was in the front door when I came and almost tripped over it with all these bags. And again, he didn't come downstairs to help me with none of the groceries. And then I said to him, your clothes are in the hallway. Take them and put them in the hamper. Well, you could call me. I don't have to call you. Well, you're in my house. Noted. We ate dinner. And I sat up in the living room. She said, you coming to bed? I said, no, I was watching this movie. She said, you can watch it in the room. I said, no, I'll watch it here. And she went to bed. And in the morning, she went to work. He went to school because I was on the latest shift. I packed up all my stuff, put them in my car. I had a friend that I called, and he says, yeah, man, I have a 2-bedroom. You could come stay by me. I said, no problem. So head over there. She called me the first day. She says, is everything okay? So everything's fine. What happened? She said, oh, you didn't come in last night. So, oh, okay, no problem. So everything is okay. She says, you didn't answer me. You didn't come home last night. I said, well, that's not my home. She goes, it's not? I said, no, that's not my home. I says, I'm talking to you about your son. Oh, well, that's my, and there we go. Have a nice day, click. So she called me back and she said, oh, you acting like a little bee. What a real man would do, and a real man, and a real man, and a real man, and a man, and a man, and a real man, and a man. I said, well, his father never stayed around. Excuse me? His father never stayed around. So how much of a real man could deal with this child? I said, you were right. She said, on what? That is your child, and that is your home, and that is your rules. So on that note, you should have a great life. Click. For about 3 months, she kept calling because now, imagine now, I moved into her place and I'm picking up most of those bills, right? The health insurance she had was like, I guess she got the bare minimum. I had HIP HMO with the rider on this, so I put them on mine. This little boy had all these illnesses that, HIP was taking care of. So she now recognizes that, and she's calling me to tell me that he has to go to the dentist. I said, okay, what are you calling me for? Well, I went to the dentist and they said he's no longer on your insurance. He's not. Why would you take him off your insurance? Because he's not my responsibility. Again, I'm doing what his father's supposed to do, but you're giving me his father's problems, right? You're telling me what I can't say to him because it's not my home and not my place. If I need to speak to him about nothing, I should speak to you, not him, because you're his mother. And I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with my time and resources being spent and I have no input, right? So I'm saying this to you, to men, if you decide to date a woman with children, do not move into her place, okay? If they have their own home, listen, I'm not knocking any woman from buying their own home. I think it's a great idea. Owning is better than renting. It's different when you own than you rent, so I'm not knocking anybody. However, if you decide to get serious, okay, buy your own home so that your rules are set up in that home, not her rules, okay? And I'm a big component of couples, of marriage, but make sure you're not moving into somebody else's house because those are their rules, their terms. But your resources and your time will be needed, right? So my opinion to anybody who, and again, I don't think it's every woman or every woman. I just think there are just some that mother didn't teach them how to be a wife or what they're supposed to do, okay? So you can't even blame them for what they didn't learn, right? Because it's something taught. You just can't get up tomorrow morning and say you're going to be a wife. That's something that has to be taught from young, right? So you should find out before. Again, I'm not condoning anybody being, don't take care of anybody or stuff like I hear people say on the internet, because there are women out there that have children, but didn't work out. And in my opinion, no child is a mistake, because if it's a mistake, then you should have wear a condom, you should have birth control. So no child is a mistake, okay? I'm not a mistake. God wanted me here for a reason, and like God wanted every child here for a reason. The mistake is the freaking parents, okay? Because they didn't take the right measures to make sure that this didn't happen. So I'm not blaming any child. So just make sure that while these actresses, because they're all actresses, are performing, you just make sure that if you decide to marry one, do not move into their property, okay? Get your own. That's why I said to you guys, get your own, level up so that when they move into your property, it's your rules. You know what time you want them in. You know what time you want the lights to go off. You'll make sure that your house is clean. If they can't, then because now it's your rules that they have to abide by. But if you have to abide by their rules, you're going to be going through the things that you never thought you'd go through with a mother and a child. Okay? So this is my piece from to YouTube again, from my corner, and I just want you guys to know I appreciate you guys listening to me. Eventually, I'm going to try to make as many of these as I can as possible. So enjoy, and thank you guys for listening to me.